It's the aftermath. Paul versus Woodley. Joseph Parker versus Chisora. Thanks for stopping in, man. So, as I said, man, if anyone does watch or follow my videos, man, whatever the case is, everyone's caught my video yesterday. I said I wasn't going to watch the fight. I'm not going to watch Paul versus Woodley. I don't really have much respect for the Paul brothers, just the way that they're going on about, boxing and all that, calling out Canelo, things like that, signing up with all these guys, strictly business for pay-per-view fights that ain't really pay-per-view worthy, in my eyes. So I don't really follow them. I did say I was going to watch it back. I did watch it back. It's all over the media. And let's get straight to the point, the knockout. A lot of people say that it was a dive. And it was a dive, that's exactly what it was. The guy got him with the overhand right and he dived straight to the ground. He got knocked out. That's what it was. It was a dive to the canvas from the knockout. You can't say that he's taken a dive if he's not really a boxer himself. He's on a 6 losing streak, man, or something like that on those lines. I also said he was a deteriorating Woodley, he's lost, like I just finished saying, the last 6 of his fights. One including being a YouTuber, you know what I mean? So, he ain't a boxer. So the knockout was, a fair knockout. It was it's always good to see knockouts. It was a good knockout to watch, if I'm honest. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a fan of any of the Paul brothers, that's for sure. But yeah, that was it. I hope that, this hype of him knocking him out doesn't drag on, man, being suggested or anything like that of being a knockout of the year. Because I've been hearing a lot of rumors about that, you can't call it a knockout of a year if they ain't boxers, you know what I mean? It's a bit too much for me, man. So I'm just going to stop there before I get too carried away. Now let's talk Parker Chisora. Chisora really got a lot of heart. You got to say that Chisora really has a lot of heart. He, I think that should be his last fight. I know that he's a fighting man and all that, man, but if he's getting knocked out from Parker 3 times, Parker's not really a heavy-handed fighter. You know what I mean? It just shows that, he's had too many knocks. His reflex aren't as good. He had to hide in the corner when he got knocked down, just so that he can counter or dodge the punches or whatever he was trying to do, man. Get out of the danger zone. That says a lot. That says that his movement is not the same. His reflex are not the same. And all that, it's really unheard of Chisora to get knocked down 3 times, my apologies. It just seemed out of the ordinary. Parker did, land a lot of good shots and all that, but Chisora's a guy that will go to war with anybody, and he's used to taking big shots, He's used to taking big shots. So, it was a surprise to me to see him drop 3 times hanging on the ropes. I'm thinking, is this the same Chisora that fought Dillian Whiteman and that slugfest that they had you know, taking hit after hit. Keeping one, White knocked out Chisora in the 11th round and kept him down. You know, so White definitely has a harder left hook than Parker. Could it possibly have been the conk style that Parker was you know, using? That is a possibility, you know, that did wear his legs down, but to me it just seemed a bit odd. I mean, full credit to Parker for winning the fight. It's a shame that he couldn't finish the job off by knockout. You know, Chisora looked like he was on his last legs for a while. Obviously Parker did you know, gas himself out in the 6th, 7th round. You know, he must have overthrown punches, or he may be getting used to the heavier weight or the style that he's fighting in. You know, I'm not too sure. I'm going to say this though, I do think that was the best Parker that I have seen, just because, you know, he was winning the fight 6, 7 rounds in, you know, halfway through the fight. I mean, when you're up to round 7 and you're winning the fight, you don't really need to put yourself in that danger zone, especially a guy like Parker. You know, he is one of those guys that does box on the back foot and plays it safe. You know, this time he was pressing forward, a lot of leaning, man, a lot of coming forward, a lot of trying to knock him out. So I mean, you know, that's good to see. It's good to see a different Parker. It was an average performance though. I would say that it was an average performance. I mean, he gassed out really early. He couldn't finish the job when Chisora was on his last legs, and but he done it convincingly enough to get him a bigger fight, in my opinion. Possibly against Joyce, or, you know, who knows what route he will take. We will see what happens. I think that he'll try to get the Herkovic fight. You know, I think that Joyce is a harder fight than Herkovic myself. I think that Joyce is a force to be reckoned with, you know. And I don't think that Parker will have any luck doing what he done against Chisora, against Joyce. You know, Joyce's jab speaks for itself, you know. But overall, you know, it was a good fight, a lot better than the first one. You know, the first one was quite dreadful to watch, to be honest. You know, this one was more exciting. It would have been even more exciting if Chisora, you know, landed the overhand right clean. You know, but full props to Parker. You know, I saw him holding Chisora's hands when he was inside the pocket, you know, holding his arms, making sure that he can't get any momentum or any swing or anything like that, you know. So he was quite smart doing that. And there was one thing that I am going to say, you know, that Parker could have done better in that fight, which is the jab. You know, Chisora was more effective with the jab against Parker. You know, and Parker's meant to be the boxer, more of a boxer than the two. That's what I'm trying to say. So I mean, Parker really needs to improve on using that jab, especially when he's, you know, trying to push a guy back. You saw him leaning and all that, man, but I mean, the jab can do that as well, you know what I mean? But hey, man, overall, man, it was a good fight. I believe that Chisora should retire. I mean, if he can't beat Parker, then I think, you know, it's time to hang up your gloves, man. You know, I mean, he's put on a hell of a career, you know, hell of a resume, man. He's fought all the guys, you know, similar to like a Porter, but just not there yet. But I mean, he has fought a lot of top guys, you know, a guy that will never turn down a fight, a guy that will fight anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere, you know, Will Chisora. So I mean, full credit to him, man. If he does retire, I will do a video about it. But that's all I gotta say, man. It is the aftermath. Hit the notification bell, leave a comment, man. Let me your take. Peace, man. God bless.